And there we go again for the finals of this qualifier. So we have to see Team Synergyc. I have no idea who they are, how they play, but they made it so far. So we have to see if they actually put something against LDLC. Of course, my favorite team here, just because they proved themselves already in the past. But well, I can definitely say those qualifiers, they're always full of surprises. So let's see how this one goes.
Very much so. And like you said, LDLC definitely have proved themselves in the past. Synergic, bit of a more unknown team. They also had what could be called the easier side of the bracket, with one of the only notable name really being Twisted Fusion. So quite interesting to see how they do play, whether they're going to, whether they can prove themselves really in this particular match.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look for what bracket they came. They won 3 in a row: HTS, Bow Brothers, and TF. Okay, so yeah, they definitely had the easier side of the bracket. Twisted Fusion, I think this is a team where I saw some players already, so that wasn't the easiest team to go through. Either way, they made it in the finals, and now we made it into the draft, and I just need to get my stuff sorted. Yeah, finally we are in the map draft here.
Hooray. And we've already vetoed down quite a long way. Just Cursed and Dragonshire left, but we will see. It's, of course, going to be Cursed as our first map. Nothing too surprising. This is the best out of 3, though, so we will see at least one map that isn't Cursed. Hooray.
Yep, it's very refreshing, to be honest. I mean, I have to say, like me as a Dota 2 caster, I'm pretty spoiled when it comes to the maps here in Heroes of the Storm anyway, because now we have different maps and everything, but the funny part is that we still get in 90% of the games like one of the two pretty much. But let's see. I mean, we even talked about in the interview where I asked the caster what they think about the maps, and I asked all the teams on the DreamHack as well what they think about the maps, and it's really just about the snowball. I don't know, snowball-y character of the other maps that is just putting everything into Cursed Hollow or Dragonshire. Either way, Sagara and Vikings, everything is absolutely standard here.
Yep, very much so. So we'll have to see what they do pick. Wouldn't be too surprised to see the same order. However, LDLC this time getting the first pick, so there's a chance that they could be picking up Jaina for themselves. They've been second pick every time.
Yep, pretty much. So I don't know. I want to see something different. I want to be surprised. But if I get that, that's the question. Now, Sylvanas, Jaina, Vara. 1, 2, 3. Sylvanas.
Yep, Sylvanas is going to be the top one. And if we're going by the theme, but this is a bit more of an unknown team, but it should be Jaina Vala.
To be honest, if I compare Sylvanas and Sagara, and I already said it, like, and the scaling into late game, to be honest, I think the teams should have gone with a Sylvanas ban along this way, because if I look at those games and I imagine a Vikings or a Sagara in some of these fights and some of these pushes, to be honest, the Sylvanas and this like triple archer or double archer with a healer in the background, it did so much work. It was responsible pretty much for all the experience advantage they got, because they got the front lines of the tier 1 towers, tier 1 keeps, maybe even after a certain fight or a certain objective event. So Sylvanas for me at the moment a priority ban, in my opinion, looking back on the 5 games we did here, and well, we don't get it. And we have something different. The Malfurion being picked first by Synergic.
Yeah, Malfurion first pick is a little bit out of the ordinary. We've seen some teams go for it like second or third pick, teams like Gamers 2, for example, as they absolutely love it. They will absolutely aim for first pick on Sylvanas, and second pick will almost always be Malfurion. But bringing out the Malfurion as first pick from Synergic is very interesting, just relying on the huge amount of healing that comes out of it, but it opens up so many compositions for LDLC, because LDLC are now pretty open if they want to go for any kind of melee assassin comp, as Ufa and Rhaegar are both open, and there's unlikely that Synergic will bring in a Brightwing just as a direct counter from that. So it's an interesting thing to pick out, but they do also get the Jaina, and that just gives over Valor to LDLC anyway.
Yep, like with the Jaina being picked right after the Malfurion, that means we get the Vala for sure now on LDLC, and they can just repeat what they did in the previous game. So Vala and Uther exactly in that order pretty much.
Yep, I'd say so. They may go for Brightwing or something like that, but if they want the potential of having a melee assassin, then it's absolutely going to be Uther. In which case they could bring in Thrall, Carrick, more likely from them because Thrall was seemed to be a refuse thing. More likely to be Thrall. More likely to be Kerrigan or Illidan, or maybe even Zeratul. But if it's Zeratul, then Uther is not a necessity. Zeratul's just the cheeky guy who snipes your assassins.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to be honest, the Thrall, it didn't really work out. Also, stats-wise, after the game, we saw that, like, I don't know, his damage in all those fight, it was just not. The problem is Thrall is throwing everything out within seconds, and once the steam is out, then he really feels like a target dummy where you just pump everything in, and there's not much coming from his side for, well, quite a while. Now we have
he was built with a more sustainy comp this time.
Yeah.
It just didn't really work out. He wasn't able to charge in and get the amount of kills that you want him to because the enemy team's constantly moving.
And the Uther came out, so no surprise there. What might be surprising now is Malfurion and Jaina plus what's coming right now, which means we could get a tank and an assassination, or a tank and a second support. That would definitely be interesting. I mean, they surprised us already with the Malfurion first pick, so I don't see a reason why there's not a surprise coming now. A Diablo Tyrande combination is something I can imagine, but as I said, I don't know this team, so please surprise me.
Yeah, I am struggling to predict here because we don't obviously know the players very well. Like you said, Diablo Tyrande, very much a possibility. ETC and just a second damage dealer, like maybe Sergeant Hammer, maybe Falstad. There is the Sergeant Hammer. And if they're going Sergeant Hammer, I think ETC is probably the more likely warrior than Diablo, as ETC can be in a fight and peel a lot better for a Sergeant Hammer than Diablo can. Diablo is the engager for a burst comp. ETC is a bit more utility abled.
That's true. ETC is also better for actually holding people off your Sergeant Hammer. But then again, Siege Mode Sergeant Hammer is something we hardly see. It was already something that was pretty rare in the cases before the HP nerf. Now, you barely see that. So there's even not too much to protect. But then again, of course, your Sergeant Hammer is never in a good position if he gets in direct contact with the other assassins on the other team. That's for obvious reasons. So yeah, ETC is my vote on this one as well.
Nope, gonna be Chen.
No. Oh my goodness.
Everyone avoiding the ETC at the moment. But Chen makes a lot of sense as well. It has great engage, has huge amounts of tankiness, as we've mentioned before, especially on this map, has boss steal potential with that barrel. And the barrel is also probably one of the best peels for a Sergeant Hammer in the game. So ETC does make a lot of sense. However, they're giving up on all that split push XP.
And I say Diablo Tyrande on the other side, or a ETC Falstad combination. That really would sound like LDLC and the past drafts they made.
Very possible. Like we mentioned earlier that melee assassins are open to them because of the Uther, but it's not a necessity. That Divine Shield can absolutely be used on a Valor or something. There's a Brightwing, so going double support. So now they absolutely have to pick a warrior as their last. So ETC, probably not Diablo. Diablo Uther is an okay combination, but if they bring in the ETC, then they get the double split pushing potential of Brightwing and ETC, where they can both push top and bot simultaneously and then join their team whenever an objective is on the board. So that's quite likely. There are other potentials as well. Diablo is a possibility, but as I said before, there's not too much follow-up to it.
No, I think ETC has to come out here. Diablo, well, it's a 60-40 for ETC in favor of ETC, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it is the ETC. Like, the other option would have been similar to the SK style and Sky Temple with bringing out Arthas, but it's a very risky comp, especially on this map and against a Chen. Chen against Arthas is actually quite amusing because Arthas, the whole point is he needs to be up in your face and trying to do damage to your carries. With a Chen, he just gets barreled away.
Yep, absolutely. What I'm curious now is what Synergyc picks here as the last one. I mean, they face a double support on the other side, so do we get something similar now? Like, what are the options here? We could go with Tyrande, Tassada, I don't know, not that popular anymore, and there's also like the damage. I'm actually worried about the damage right now for Synergyc.
Yeah, they have burst potential coming out of Jaina, and they have some sustain coming out of Hammer. So damage is a little bit in question for them. So maybe another damage dealer, like you said, Tyrande and Tassadar would both fill in that role, and there is in fact going to be Tassadar just adding that little extra damage and that utility. So Tassadar with that Archon and the static charge talent, just a little bit of extra damage is a little nice.
Yep, Tassadar, well, I mean, I mentioned him as an option, but I did really not expect him. The problem really with him is that I don't know. The damage he just deals. It doesn't scale well. It's really just a tiny bit, and it can easily be outmaneuvered. Siege wise, it's okay if you have a Sergeant Hammer and a Tassada, especially if he goes for increased range. Then of course you have a lot of like range siege. But talking about range siege, on the other side, LDLC, we saw the combination there playing the ETC in the front line, Savannah's making sure the towers or keeps on not doing anything, Vala just doing her stuff, and also Brightwing can contribute there a lot, while the Uther is staying in the back lines, just making sure whoever gets the focus will be Divine Shield. We have Cleanse there as well. It's quite insane, to be honest. LDLC is a very solid trap, but Synergyc, of course, I'm up for surprises. Where is our lobby?
I am already in it. I just got invited. And let me invite you. You, Pit, have already been invited, or Oh yeah, you're already. Yes. No, you're not. Why can't I invite you? Oh, you are. Oh, you are. There you are.
Yes, I am
okay.
already.
You just
in.
loaded
That's
it
why
on
you can't invite me.
You weren't showing up on mine.
Off that list apparently. So that's.
You weren't showing up on mine.
So.
But yeah. So composition wise, LDLC has a huge advantage in terms of split pushing potential. I mentioned it before, but if they can start creeping ahead in XP, then it's going to get out of control, because ETC can push top lane, Brightwing can push bot lane, and as long as they group in time, like Brightwing teleports a bit early maybe for engagements at tributes, etc., then they will be fine, because ETC can join much quicker than Brightwing. So they can get very far ahead there. But Synergyc have some very nice team fight potential if Chen can get some good barrels off. They can really do well. And we've seen how well Chens have been doing throughout all of today with just relentless chase, relentless engage.
Well, we have to see what's actually happening here. Where I'm trying to get hold of the other guys. Wait, where is our captain for Mr. Synergyc? Where's my doc file? It disappeared.
I just closed mine.
I got it.
Nice.
Synergyc, where are they? They're not on the list.
No. Click. They are in fact not on the list. That is not helpful.
Okay, let me just write that to the admins. Okay.
Okay, someone has joined the lobby. I'm assuming that's one of them.
Okay, I guess Ariel can now invite everyone else, unless his list is crazy. Well,
yeah, his list is so crazy that he hasn't invited either of his that he hasn't got any of his teammates added.
Yes, please. There we go. Finally. Well, this is the problem. Like, I mean, in tournaments where you have the finals or where you have invites, that's much easier, because like the known teams and the casters, we have each other on the friends list anyway, so it's much easier. But of course, if you encounter a team for the first time, then like all this organization and everything, it's kind of and out of like so many teams joining these open qualifiers here and for Enter the Storm, you never know who actually makes it into the final. So Synergyc, a team out of nothing, out of nowhere. We have to see where they go, and finally we traded it. And oh yeah, I can actually whisper this to you.
Okay, we do kind of need we need bigger friends lists. I will say that much, because I've been having problems.
Is it actually limited? Like on what is it limited? Because I didn't hit the limit yet.
It is limited to 100.
Oh, 100. Okay, that's not much at all.
Considering it is very much not.
It counts for like all the Blizzard games, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem.
Battle.net itself is limited to 100.
Yeah.
Which is not very many.
Because like, I have my old World of Warcraft contacts are still in there. People from Diablo, like I had to do a lot of projects around Hearthstone where I added like all the pro players and casters and whatnot. So alone by that, my list is pretty packed. And now going into Heroes of the Storm, another set of people coming on my friends list. So, well, that's...
I'm deleting people every time I have to cast.
Oh, that's actually too
There's
bad.
a lot of people. Actually, I just went down to the bottom of my list. I just found a load that I can actually remove. So let's just get rid of them now.
You can remove Heflamog. He's not important at all.
No, I found some people who still had their tags from the wrong team, so they were on the wrong account.
Well, let's see. Either way, 6 out of 10 players ready. We're going here into the finals. Again, guys, a reminder, this is an open qualifiers. There are 2 qualifiers each weekend here. The entire thing, of course, is sponsored by Rocket and Alienware. The casters today, that's me, obviously. That's Haflamoke and Thatcher directly after his weekend at PGL, where I was doing the coverage and he was doing the casting with Calder, is helping me out today. About tomorrow, I'm not even sure who we're gonna get there. Maybe it's me with Thatcher, or me with someone else, or someone else with Thatcher.
Preferably
I don't know.
someone who can do the clean feed. I am filling in as no one was available.
Yeah.
Because here at the Enter the Storm tournament, we like to give everyone the best chance to cover as possible. So they do have the clean feed running. They have 2 casters, one running the stream, one running the clean feed. I am unable to do that, which is why if you have watched any of the other streams currently, they will be restreaming us.
Yeah, pretty much. Which
Like,
is, it's a bad thing because they don't have game sound today, but there's nothing we can do. Today we had to go for this combination, but usually you can actually listen to this in, there are actually 2 Russian casters, Portuguese, French, German, Spanish, and I don't know of any other casters, but if you're watching and you're a caster in, I don't know, Polish, Czech, Italian, what else is there? Like Balkan languages, Slavonic languages, I don't care. Then of course you can just contact me on any social media under Haflamoke, then we can find something for you and you can cast this event because it's also open to cast and we are happy about everyone who covers it. And that being said, well, they're not ready.
I don't know. 7 out of 10. We're waiting for Chen, Zagara, and Tassadar.
Yep. I mean, I know LDLC played now a lot of games in a row, but then again, they want to be done as well.
All right. Yep, just waiting for Chen and Tassadar. Now Zagara has changed finally into Jaina. And hopefully we can get this underway.
What
it is a
this,
best
by
out
the
of
way?
3.
This is World of Warcraft, a tier 1 mage set.
What?
Yeah, like Jaina.
I can't say it, remember. I see the opposite
yeah.
to you.
Too bad. But this is
save a
the
ring
set
game.
you used. It looks like tier 0.
Now's probably a good time to say that I've not played a single second of World of Warcraft in my entire life.
Oh, blasphemy. Blasphemy. I don't
Only
wanna hear that.
Only Blizzard game I have never touched.
Oh, that's really too bad. You missed out on a lot.
I
After
played
10
all the
years.
Warcrafts though.
Huh?
I played all the Warcrafts, just not World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I guess that qualifies you for some of it, but like when it comes to the items and sets, a lot of it
Yeah,
is really out of
I'm
World of
very
Warcraft.
unfamiliar with that. I am
Yep.
a lore nerd, but I can't follow that.
Anyway, on the left side again, I have to check LDLC versus Synergyc. My overlay is correct. Talents are on, and that means we can go for a nice introduction. LDLC today introduced for the 3rd, 4th time. I lost count. Hiroka is again on the Pride Wing. It's kind of interesting that he swaps the roles a tiny bit in the games because he was on Sylvanas, if I'm not mistaken, before.
Maybe? I think so.
Yeah. Either way, in the bottom lane we have Polator, this time on Uther, and in the mid we have Alastor, Vipelino, and LOL versus XD on the Vala, ETC, and something I forgot. Sylvanas. Yeah, Sylvanas.
Yep.
So let's
And
look
on the
other side.
right-hand side, starting in the bottom lane, we have Ariel on the Jaina in the Master Skin. We have Doki on the Malfurion with, I think, that's the Master Skin. We have Bardina on the Sergeant Hammer, which is definitely the Master Skin. In the mid lane, it is going to be Chen, who is being played by... Ooh, stop moving, I can't read your name. That is Osgarath. That's a cool name, I like it. And in the top lane, it is Dren still playing the Tassadar.
Trensil. Does it have any meaning? No.
If it does, I don't know it.
Yeah.
I am an uncultured Brit.
But look at this early push again. It's the same thing LDLC is repeating all the time. But nice route here, but it's on the tank. Unfortunately, that's the target you didn't want to go for. You wanted the Vala, but that didn't really happen. I mean, they stopped the push, but they already lost the tower in the process. So tiny advantage there right now for LDLC. And we have to see. So far, they always went to another lane if they try to prevent the push. So at the moment, it looks like they're going bottom.
Yeah, they seem to try and match the tri-lane whenever possible, but right now both teams appear to be doing a roaming gank squad with 2 really inefficient roaming gankers. It's the roaming assassins coming out of LDLC, and Chen actually abandoning the mid lane for a bit to go down and help the bot lane, but nothing really happened. Just a little bit of a duel back and forth for both teams. But for now, tri-lane in the bot lane coming in for Synergyc, and they're just trying to push this in. Polator taking a nice lance to the face.
Yep, and they continue just in the mid. They already started on the top tower, now we're going on the lower tower here. And Oscarov, he can't really do anything, just dishing out some damage. There is Fury coming in, but alone, I don't think that really helps. But the ETC actually taking some nice damage on the tower.
Yep, Oscarov, dropped very low. Alistair was also dropped low, but not as low. He's able to back up and tap Fountain. ETC is also only going to tap Fountain, not going to go back for health. But he has a Malfurion with him that restores the majority of the rest. And he's running the full regen build. Not going to be stacking up too high yet, but all the extra health regen is nice. And you can see Bardina having a little trouble in the spot lane. Ufa dueling far more efficiently thanks to those heals.
Well, I'm kind of surprised that he doesn't really go into siege mode and trying to force him like with the range advantage, but at the moment he can't really establish that because Polata are really aggressive. Now, however, we have the first tribute here, Uther versus Sergeant Hammer. That's an interesting one, I have to say, because everyone is just going top at the moment. Okay, that's very interesting.
That is interesting. Drenstill has taken a lot of damage. Ariel is there to help him, and in comes Osgaraf, gets the slow onto Haruke, but no follow-up to this. And ETC has finally come down to help help his teammate at this tribute. Doki and Bardina versus Polator and ETC, who's being played by Vipolino. Vipolino, once again, just sort of works his way in. Not really going to commit on anything. Lotla60 taking quite a bit of harassment from Osgaraf.
It's kind of funny. I mean, at the moment with the siege mode, they can definitely hold them off, so the Malfurion can try something, but the ETC would come instantly. So this is a forever lasting standoff. But now the two assassins arrive here to the scene, so now it gets interesting.
If Ariel a bit out of position, Vipolino very far forward, going on to Doki here. Osgaraf is here, but he's quite low health. Gets a good fire break off though onto Vipolino. Vipolino now being chased very far back by Bardina. Bardina now trying to go to Lord versus XD, chunks him pretty hard, and it's currently a 5 versus 4, and they're going in. Doki gets wiped out by Vipolino. Osgaraf goes in for the counter, try to get Lord versus XD, but he gets stunned, and he goes down as well, and that is a 2-for-1. Osgaraf going very greedy to try and get the counter kill, but instantly shut down by Polator.
It looked good for a while because they were stalling a lot of time 5 versus 4 while the Tassada was doing experience top, but then losing the tribute, that was the outcome you didn't really want to go for. So LDLC making here a run for the money, that's for sure.
Yeah, and LDLC coming out ahead in XP just because of that. So very, very nice for them. And now Tassada once again has to play a little bit further back because Alistair's back in lane. Wolver 60 just got back to lane, and that push that he was doing suddenly all cancelled, and now he's actually in trouble again in his lane. Osgraf getting polymorph, but not going to be too bad. Alistair takes a full storm to the face though. That is pretty painful. And static charge is already available, so Dreadstill going to be able to do a little bit of harassment.
And look at this top. Again, both towers just falling within seconds. This is why I say, screw it, let Vikings happen, let Zagara happen, rather go for that Sylvanas.
Nice haunting wave over the wall there by Alistair, able to back up. And now we can see they're actually taking the tribute. Level 60 is here to harass. Doesn't take an ice lance, actually. He was able to dodge that. And in comes Haruke from the back to deny it as well. We got pretty much team players everywhere all over this.
Yeah, but at the moment they have enough to interrupt it.
Yeah, they're doing so as much as they can. And Dren still being dropped low. He pops his dimensional shift, though, to keep himself from getting picked off thanks to that Envenom that went down on him. What's the next deny going to be? Looks like no one's near enough. And finally, going to see the tribute go over to Synergyc.
Yeah, in the meantime, the Uther is the pushing element in the bottom lane. But now we have a fight top here.
Yep, and we do see Jaina go down. Alistair's being dropped low. He is able to haunting wave over the wall. Barading being dropped low. Alistair moving a bit far forward, trying to bait someone in maybe, or at least get some damage down on his own. Lola 60 chasing it onto Osgaraf. Osgaraf turning around, gets a little bit of harass off. Bit of slow on the vault there, Lol versus XD. And Osgaraf able to get out now that he has that increased movement speed due to the fact he threw out all of his abilities.
So yeah, we have a 1-1 tribute situation. That's all cool, but the biggest problem, of course, is that they have 1 level advantage, which means they're gonna hit level 10 now. LDLC, they are ready to fight. Then again, in the last games we saw, they do not want to fight that early. But then again, we have a tribute spawning right now, so I think this is a confrontation you can definitely take. However, ETC Brightwing, the Clobo mobility is coming. Like, he's going top, Brightwing is coming bottom, easy going. You don't have to right there, you can just go for it, and I think they do the right thing. Just ignore that tribute.
Yep, absolutely. LDLC grabbing their second tribute of the game. And like you said, ETC is still just going to stay top lane with Tassadar, soak up XP. Bryman coming to mid lanes. There was no one here at the moment. Boss being considered by LDLC here, and they are actually going to start taking it. There's quite a few people in the spot lane, though. They may decide to try and dive in and prevent this, and Doki getting quite close to spotting this, and he is going to see this. And will this cause a rotate here? Chen's coming in. Looks like they want to. They're not level 10 yet, so Chen can't dive in and interrupt this. If they can get a kill, though, that might be it. Doki gets stunned. In comes the stage dive. Doki gets taken out. And LDLC still get it. They're able to take down at Malfurion. Osgraf gets taken down as well, and that went horribly.
Yep, I mean, they need to know that, like, this global presence of a Brightwing and an ETC, they need the Tassadar around there, they need the shields, they need the second support, otherwise you will have a bad stand in those fights. And now we're looking at 2 levels advantage. This fort is going down just by the boss, but of course there's even more support in the background. Boss won't even take too much damage just because you got the Sylvanas. It's just too dangerous. So this game is falling apart step by step at the moment here.
Yep, very little that Synergyc can do about this, and it was a good idea. Roam in, try and steal it. If Chen had had his barrel in time, he may have been able to barrel in and just at least steal the boss, but instead, like you said, they tried to engage upon a team with 2 global presence heroes that just instantly joined them while their Tassadar was nowhere near. Tassadar is now near, though, and he's currently dueling Heroic here, just preventing that tribute from being taken, because if they get cursed while this boss is on their base, they are in serious trouble, and because of that, he's managed to draw back the enemy and prevent them from continuing to push with this boss, because they want to restore. Heroic will get the curse here, and Tassadar will go down, but I actually think that sacrifice may have been a little bit worth it, unless Ariel manages to get himself caught here. There's the strafe. This might have been a mistake. Osgraf throwing out the barrel to save Ariel there. Very nice play. That was almost a terrible decision by Jaina.
Yep, I mean, Tassadar going down right before the curse, it was worth because he delayed it that much, so that was kind of okayish thing to happen, but the problem is they still, LDLC, just as we saw them in the last games, they used the curse immediately at below 10 minutes to break the base, at least one already, but oh, look at this, stage dive.
They didn't get the power side off, though. The silence and the stage dive both used, and now they're in full retreat. They don't have as many heroic. Shrink Ray used on Tassadar while he's in that Archon form. Root cleansed by Polator, so he's able to get out of there. And now it is the chase onto the members of LDLC. Osgraf kicks his way in, gets stunned by the Divine Storm, gets face melted, and his tankiness is not enough. He goes down, and that's what happens if you get too greedy against Chen. And Heroic blinking into a minion very aggressively there onto Ariel, gets the polymorph off, but unable to get the kill. Vipolino backing out a bit, he's dropped quite low, and this keep will go down.
Yep, they needed the CAC, they needed the barrel boys pretty much right there. Barrel hole, it was so needed, but well, they had to use it for Ariel. Like, otherwise Ariel would have died before that fight, and LDLC they're capitalizing on it. This Chen, he's jumping in, and LDLC they knew about the cooldown, easy going for them, just focus him and there's nothing you can do. Double stun, that was already enough. And now of course, they got what they wanted. Maybe now a bruiser camp for a boss, that's an interesting trade. Maybe they are really fast done with the bruisers and they can contest this boss.
I think it's more or less they didn't want to fight over the boss because they know that everyone will be up. They're coming to contest it now, and they're not going to be here in time. Polator is here. If he can maybe stand in the circle for long enough, but his team is not close enough. ETC would need to stage dive to prevent this, but he's already used it. And there's the boss route. It's actually trapping Polator a bit, but no one's really willing to engage here. Now they are. There's the silence. Stage dive comes in. Osgraf is trapped away. He uses his barrel, but he's already so low. Divine Storm misses completely. But Doki's also been taken out there by Vipolino and Heroic. And these blink heals to minions to aggressively chase from Heroic are so cool.
That Tranquility came out when he was on like 5% HP. That was way too late.
Not enough.
Yep.
And now we're going to see the push continue here out of LDLC. Just going to take down all these towers in the top lane. And I would like to point out the boss was taken. They weren't able to prevent it. So it is pushing the top lane fort. But it's not going to do too much. It will take down the fort maybe. But LDLC getting a keep for a fort. I think they're pretty happy with that.
Yep, definitely. I mean,
they're having to back out a bit though.
Well, at the moment they're able to defend it. I mean, they're also Tassadar shield. But look at all this damage at the moment. They're making both out, but oh my god, the Chen.
He's still okay for now. He's backing out, but The keep does go down. Aerial Hungering Arrow takes him down. And that is a nice little kill for LDLC. Just picking people here and there. And there's almost nothing that Synergyc can do about this. Just not able to stand up to this.
Yep, and the boss top, we already talked about it. Well, he hits the base now, but that's pretty much the last station he goes for. And they have a perfect transition LDLC. Bruiser Cam applying the pressure into a tribute that's spawning, but they don't even go for the tribute. Who cares? There's 3 more to go, but you can take the base directly. That's what they want to go for. Yep. They have Sylvana, so nobody cares about buildings actually doing damage. That's why we love her or hate her. It kind of depends.
They get some free buildings here by doing this, so it makes quite a lot of sense to go for the buildings now, while Tastar had only just respawned, because they can retreat into this tribute, as opposed to sending someone and having more chance of them getting killed off. Water Elemental used maybe a bit in advance. We see the cleanse on Valor. Strafe goes down. Osgraf using his barrel, though, separating out Vipolino, but that may cost him his own life. He's dropped so low. Tranquility is used a bit more in advance this time, so that's a pretty nice healing. Divine Storm onto Bardina, and he is going pretty low, but he's able to get out. Osgraf is very much in there, causing some pretty nice mayhem. Trick Ray is used on him. Alistair being forced to back out. Blizzard does tap him. Vipolino dropped low, takes a napalm to the face. Osgraf not giving up. There's the face melt, there's the power slide, but he goes down, and the chase continues. Hiruke and Alistair are now in danger. Alistair gets over the wall. Hiruke blink heals, and they're going to be able to get out unless Osgraf can catch Hiruke here. Blink heal. No, not going to give chase.
Nope, it's not gonna happen. They actually made that escape nicely through the trees, over the wall, whatever you want to call it. But oh, actually they found Sylvanas, but no, that's the least target you want to find. Sure, they get that one tribute. They are one closer to getting their own curse, but the problem is top. They lost, the tier 1 defense of the base, and in the mid the keep is down as well. So it's just bad news. LDLC, they can regroup, take their own boss because it already respawned. And then there's even more pressure again on Synergyc here.
Yeah, but it looks like Synergyc are coming down to contest this boss. But Bardina is already low here. He's currently taking this easy camp, but they do leash. And they do just heal back up. You can't do it that way unless someone tanks it for you. It is not possible. And we're seeing LDLC untapping the boss. They do not want to get into a fight. But they're pretty much guaranteed to be in a bad position because of the boss stun. And now see, everyone's grouped up. Bardina scouting with that napalm. Wailing Arrow lands on quite a few. Nice dimensional shift from Drenstill. They're able to block this. Vipolino once again separated out from his team. But there is the strafe now that CC has been used. Stage dive to try and prevent Bardina from escaping. Doki is getting burst. Nice ice block to keep him alive, but he's completely surrounded. There's the polymorph, which had Critterize on it. He goes down. Vipolino is dueling Bardina. Bardina actually able to get away. Sneaks out. Osgraf not going to be as lucky. Tries to kick his way to freedom, but just goes down. And they're not even going to take the tribute. Once again, they're going straight for the core while there are 3 members down. And this is going to be GG. LDLC taking game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, Jaina respawns relatively fast. I mean, we're only 40 minutes in, but like against 5 people on the core, I don't think they can really do it. Even though, look at Polator, he's getting really low, but still 4 people hitting that core.
It's dropping very quickly, but they are also killing off members quickly. Hiruke with such high heals, though. Vipolino just being a menace, delaying this out. He's being dropped low. He goes down. They're actually doing it. They're clearing this up. Down goes, who was that? Sylvanas in the background. There's Brightwing and 2 greedy LDLC. Forced to back up. Lord versus XD, the only one to get out, but he goes back in with the strafe, but does not want to dive too deep. So he's finally going to flee here. He mounts up. And he is getting chased. There are giants in the top lane. The minions will actually be able to stop this keep going down, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, the giants are full health. So that keep is very much dead. Valor backing all the way up. She doesn't want to fight over the tribute. And this is going to be a curse going over to Synergyc.
But I don't know if that curse is really in time. Curse class boss, that's definitely possible. That will happen. But of course they lose their last keep. So I'm not really sure if it has to be like going with this boss and trying to do it, trying to get the return somehow. The comeback has to come right now, otherwise I don't see how they hold their base.
They are getting this boss, so they have some pressure. We're seeing Drenstill going back, so he's going to be shielding this core and doing what he can. Polator being the mobile teleport for Hiruke there, just getting him in position to help defend this. And this, like you said, is the chance for them to come back, but there's not much they can do. They're going for the second boss, doing as much as they can in order to just get some pressure.
now that everybody's alive, like, if they push with the boss and they have still a lot to break in the base, even if they go directly for the core, then on a 15% core plus minus shield, LDLC, they will probably just dodge the fight
They can
and go for it.
absolutely base race it. They could probably base race it now, to be fair, but they're being much safer, just defending, not diving like they could. But they could very easily send ETC and a Brightwing in on a 2-man mission, while the rest of the team defended and stopped everyone going B.
Yep,
So
and
there's
that
so
boss
much
didn't
potential
even
here.
do much damage. It didn't even get that 4 tier. It just took the tier 1 defense line. That's pretty much it. So
Yep,
didn't
second
have
boss
the
is-
impact they wanted.
Yep, second boss is on the way in the top lane. There's some bruiser camps in the mid lane as well, but very nice play here by LDLC, grabbing their siege giants in a great position, so they will chase the boss a little bit into the base hit. No, they won't. They're going to turn around, but they still dealt a little damage to it to prevent it going too far. And here we are. We're seeing Synergyc moving in here. They want to try and fight with this boss, but it's already pretty much dead. They need to be super careful with this. Osgraf going very aggressive stage dive in the back. Brightwing teleporting to it, so they're completely surrounded now. Vardina backing out. Nice ice block from Ariel there. Tries to turn and gets a shield, so he's still alive here. And this is a pretty nice fight for them, but Ariel finally goes down. And we're going to see Sylvanas. Nice heal, keeping Sylvanas alive. Alistair able to get out of there with that wailing, with that haunting wave. Osgraf being dropped so low, he goes down. Doki goes down. And even though they were all dropped super low,
Yeah,
everyone from LDLC survives. They're now just going to push into the core, and that will be GG.
Yep, there's nothing they can do. Not with these respawn timers. I mean, earlier we were at like, what? The Jaina was 9 seconds respawn timer when they restarted the core. That's why they like had enough damage to actually stop them. This time, there's no way in hell they can actually stop it. So the first game goes to LDLC. Quite a standard game again for them, even though they got a bit overzealous there with the core. That was a very risky move, to be honest, but
Yeah.
like even with a double boss Synergic, they couldn't come back on this one. It was just too much damage done to that core. Just no way.
Yeah, and I really liked the combo of ETC stage dive with Brightwing already partway through a teleport onto him. So she teleported to him as he landed. So suddenly there's 2 people behind them and they're instantly circled in. Great engagement. I absolutely love it.
Yep, definitely. And with this, guys, they are 1 game ahead now in this best of 3 here. 1 more game to come. Potentially, it's the match point for LDLC, but we saw that there is comeback potential on Synergic, and that they are definitely not a noob team, as we would say. They definitely have the potential to capitalize on a mistake made by LDLC, especially if they feel too secure. And let's see if that's happening here in game number 2, or if LDLC just play it flawlessly. Either way, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I hope that they are not smokers. If they're smokers, then 5 minutes break, music, and then we're going game number 2. Be right back.